Good evening, everyone. Can I have a motion to reopen to the public, please? Motion from trustee Pringle. Can I have a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Stein. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, thank you. Welcome. Thank you for waiting. The time is 8:23. We are going to move straight into public comments. Public participation shall be governed by the following rules. If in person, a participant must sign the sign-in sheet and be recognized by the presiding officer, and must preface comments by an announcement of his or her name, municipality of residence, and group affiliation if applicable. 2, each statement made by a participant shall be limited to 3-minute duration during the public session. 3, all statements, questions, or inquiries shall be directed by the presiding officer, and any questions or inquiries directed by a participant to another board member shall be redirected by the presiding officer, who shall determine if such statement, question, or inquiry shall be addressed by the presiding officer on behalf of the board or by the individual board member. And 4, all board and/or acting superintendent responses to questions or inquiries shall be held until the end of public participation. At this time, public comments will be open to anyone here in person. If anyone in person would like to speak. Okay.
Ron Towns is my name. I'm the resident here.
Right, can you just speak right into the mic?
Hello?
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I was looking at your itinerary for this evening.
I'm so sorry, can you speak your name again?
I was looking at the itinerary. Ronald Town.
Thank you.
Townnes, first name. I was looking at your committee report for resolution with regard to the fine. And I was wondering why there is no bidding or RFP put forward with regards to any services that you all are contracting out to, and whether or not that also follows state and federal law with regards to bidding, and also what is the threshold? The other thing is, and I'm not sure if the board has approved it, but the consultant, Mr. Thomas Egan, my question is, why hire him in the first place when you have already a business manager or administrator and an assistant administrator? And what purpose is he going to serve for the board for your purpose of hiring? Because it seems like there would be a lot of duplication of what a business administrator would be doing as far as his responsibility is concerned, and the assistant administrator as well. And this doesn't address him. I feel that him coming to be a consultant doesn't address the issues that's necessary. And it's internal controls with regards to your operation. I understand he's a budget analyst, he knows finance, but that's different from operation. That's numbers. We're talking about processes that are necessary from beginning to end with regards to authorization for anything that may be necessary in the school system and whether or not it's justified or not. And that's a person that you would need, someone that is hands-on, that's going to be here, okay, whether it's a single person or they may have 1 or 2 people. I don't think you need an individual or an auditor that's going to have, that needs a staff of 5 or 6 people to handle Hackensack school system. But you do need someone who's going to oversee the operation and make sure that there are policies and procedures that are in place and whether or not they're followed or not. And that will solve at least 70% of how your budget and your finances are going to reflect from quarter to quarter or year to year. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else from the public?
Hi, I'm Daniel Holzman. I teach at HMS. According to the board minutes, I'm actually the lowest paid teacher at HMS. I'm also the lowest paid physical educator in all of Hackensack. You can literally count on one hand how many teachers make less than me district-wide. I waive my rights to health benefits. I teach 6 periods a day, every day, and have done so for 3 years without compensation. But that being said, I do love it here, which is why I'm here tonight. I'm considered a highly effective teacher. I scored a 3.6 on last year's Summon VVAL. I was nominated for Governor's Educator of the Year twice. Just yesterday, Edmund described me as an outstanding educator and colleague who regularly goes above and beyond assigned responsibilities. Despite providing exceptional value at one of the lowest costs in the entire district, my position is going to be eliminated in 44 days. And contrary to popular belief, nothing official says otherwise. So, tonight's attendance clearly demonstrates this misunderstanding. So before I continue, I just wanted to ask, would you be able to clarify if there has been anything official on this? Because the remainder of what I have to say is kind of contingent on the potential ramifications of that moving forward.
We'll answer questions at the end, so if you want to say what you have to say.
Sure, I'll say the rest of that. Okay. So the U.S. Department of Education publishes and endorses a ratio of 30 students to a teacher as best practice for physical education. The exact language used by the National Association for Sport and Physical Education is that class sizes should be consistent with that of other subject areas, with a maximum of 30 students per middle school. It's well documented that since COVID, HMS has been unable to uphold these standards. For example, when I first got here 3 years ago, the ratio was 58 students to a teacher. We had no schedule, and the gym was actively being used as the cafeteria. On my third day, PE staff was assigned to the turf field for 4 hours straight. It was 92 degrees and sunny out. We taught 8th grade for an hour, 7th grade for an hour, 6th grade, then 5th grade for an hour. And again, that was on the turf field. Having hired more PE teachers, the ratio currently sits around 47-1. And I get that we have limited space. I get that it's a gym. I get that under New Jersey Administrative Code 6A13-3.1, there's a little bit of flexibility. But that should not negate federally endorsed guidelines of the 30-1 ratio. However, on multiple occasions, physical educators were told outright these guidelines do not exist. With the RIF, our ratio is currently slated to be 89-1. I want to be very clear for the record, 89 students to 1 teacher for physical education classes. According to the National Association for Sport and Physical Education, having more than 30 students in the gym compromises safe and effective instruction by increasing risk of injury, conflicts, and opportunities for off-task behavior, while greatly decreasing movement space, instructional time per student, and participation ability. We're planning to exceed that number threefold. At that scale, safety, quality, and equity are all eliminated. Students cannot realistically meet the Shape America exercise recommendation guidelines, learn new sports, develop genuine relationship with fitness, and the goal shifts from educating to crowd control, monitoring those who just need somewhere to be until their next period, rather than teaching them healthy lifestyle habits. I'm almost out of time. That said, I have 2 questions. First, what does the board expect for the future of our athletics here? Have we considered the long-term damage this will do to the reputation of Hackensack, the one built by generations of Comets through blood and sweat and tears? Second, what steps will be taken to ensure fair and equitable